G'day, Nick here, Animal Engineering. Welcome back to the channel. On this episode we are going to be crack testing and die penetrant testing the chassis I made. So you remember the last episode I said I was going to get it sandblasted after putting all the tabs on and then do this step then. I changed my mind. I decided I want to get this part of the chassis absolutely squared away, finished before I put the tabs on, just in case there's a little bit underneath where a tab goes, stuff like that. And basically just want to get it finished. So I've got gas and wire and everything now, so you can see the front bit there. So I've just been through and done that bit. I didn't film that as, well, that bit wasn't completely finished. So on today's cooking program we are using Dymark's special blend of ingredients for humble pie. These 4 steps will bring you back down to earth if you think you are a superstar. So basically this one's a 4-parter, and most of them only are 3. The cleaner and remover are just 1 can. This one's got a cleaner first, and then a penetrant, then a remover, and then a developer. So I'm going to skip the pre-clean because everything's just freshly brand new, ground and sanded, so there's no contaminants on it. So I'm going to skip that step, go straight to the penetrant. So use the penetrant, it's like this red dye stuff. I think you leave it on there 10 minutes. I normally leave it a bit longer, just let it do its thing, spray it on, leave it in there for 20 minutes, go have a coffee, whatever. And then you got the remover. On we go through, you'll see in a second, I go through with some paper towel, wipe off the excess, then I use that very lightly. I don't just clean and polish the whole thing. You see people do that, and I've also seen people, like if they get a spot, they'll just go and try and wash it out so that the inspector doesn't see your little mistake. And then developer, that's just like a white, it's like a suspended chalky powder stuff. You can see it on there, kind of a bit finer than baby powder maybe. So any of the little ink that's in a tiny little hole, like the tiniest little hole the penetrant gets into, and basically it comes up and it dyes the powder red. So very handy, and basically on a job like this, or any job really, you should use it. You're making like an aluminium tank, oil tank or something, you see people make them and they fill them up with oil and they get a leak, and you're like, well, at least do a pressure test or use this stuff if you can't make fittings. So anyway, we'll go through and do a bit on this back section here, and we'll see how we go. So as I say, the front section wasn't completed. This rear section I have technically slapped it on the roof and said sand it. I have called this good. So let's see how wrong I was. The colour of this stuff, if you paint a car, this colour. Nice colour.
Ooh.
Oh, see what I mean about the colour? It's so nice. So yeah, we'll go have a coffee, we'll cut back in about 20 minutes, we'll wipe her off and see how much pie I eat. Alright, well that's been on there for a while now. It's a bit different this Dymark one, you can sort of see it sort of, yeah. A bit different, I haven't used it before, I've only really used the Rockall one. So now is the time to remove it off. Now, as the name suggests, it is a die, and I've got some gloves on here because it goes everywhere and it will penetrate your skin and diet. And I don't know about you, but I do not like being penetrated. Nick and penetration. Nope. Not keen. So I'm going to go through with a paper towel first. I just use paper towel, it's cheap. Go through that first, just wipe all the excess off so you're not wasting remover. So we'll go through, just quickly do that. Rightio, well that's all wiped off. Still a little bit of a pink sheen there. I don't believe you need to get it perfectly clean. I think that can actually, if you use too much of the remover, can actually pull it out of the cracks, which you don't want. So now I've got the old truth maker, this one. Give her a shake. So this is the one that really just destroys your day. Just needs a real light coat, and then it takes 2 to 3 minutes, but same as everything, give it a bit longer, 20 minutes. Here goes.
Humble pie. You understand? Eat humble pie. Eat humble.
Right, well, not look too bad from a distance, but up close you will see carnage. Well, it's actually not too bad. I mean, you're better off having absolutely nothing, obviously, but so some of the bigger marks are ones that I probably should have seen with my eye. I mean, I've been over these seams, welded them, I've ground them off, I've been back over them, filled in all the low spots, sanded them off, been back over it, sanded it with a DA sander, I've rounded off the corners. So I've been over it many times, but this is why this step is very important to make sure you do. Don't skip it. So let's have a look. See, along here there's a join. You can see here, little spot there, another little tiny one there. Generally the rest of it's not too bad. Coming up here, you can see here, now you can see in there, can actually see a little mark. This one here I believe is just a bit of overroll, so I'll sand that and then I'll spray some developer back on it again. Coming around, see another mark there. This corner here. A little bit there. A big bit there. That's a pretty definitive line, so we'll have to gouge that out. A couple little marks there. There's this one here as well, but that's the same. I think I can sand that back and then we'll chuck some developer back on that. So overall, not too bad really. Just a couple of small ones there. There's that one sort of bigger, like more defined one. That'll be a bit of digging, but generally I'll sort of just grind away at them, and the penetrant basically goes all the way in. So you grind away, spray some developer, still get a red line, keep grinding. So you just keep grinding until the penetrant doesn't come through the developer anymore, and then you wipe the developer off, put the penetrant on again, just in case you've gone past it. Wipe that off, put the developer on again, and it's a bit of a process, but it just ensures that there's no little pinholes anywhere that could potentially turn into cracks. You know, you think of like a chip on your windscreen that can end up cracking. That's what you're trying to avoid. And I'm pretty sure the engineer, when he signs off on the chassis, he's going to do something similar to this. So, pays to do it yourself, so you're not paying to take it there twice, because he's going to test it and just say, eh. So we'll go through, dig them out, and then we'll be done with this little section, move on to the next section. Rightio, so more often than not when you get those little spots, it's just like a little underfill section, or sometimes it is like a little spot of porosity. So generally, to start off with the little dots, I just get a drill bit and just drill into it a little bit, put the developer on it, see how you go, and then just keep chasing it till it comes out. If you go all the way through, you go all the way through, then you blend it out and get the TIG out and fill her up. So we'll go through a couple, we'll drill them out and then put some developer on them. Alright, so as you can see there, I just went in with that drill bit, and then the developer, spray the developer, no red came through, so got the developer out of there, hit the drill bit a little bit more, put some penetrant in there, clean that off, put the developer back on there, nothing came through, so then you clean the developer out, weld it up, sand it back, put the penetrant on, clean that off, put the developer back on, and nothing came back. So those two little spots were just little surface bits. So that's sort of the process you've got to do for every single one of those little spots you've seen. It is a slow and tedious process. It does take a fair amount of time each one. Obviously I just done those two. Normally I'll go through and I'll just do the whole lot at once. That is what I have to do over the whole chassis, and if you're not really doing that on your work, it's a bit silly, really. You need to confirm that what you've made here is acceptable, and any little marks like that just aren't. So I'll jam away and finish doing the whole chassis. I'm just doing the top edge at the moment, and then I've got to flip it over, do the whole bottom side, and then we can get it up on the table and move to the next step with the chassis. So I kind of felt it was kind of important to show this. I wasn't going to, and I thought, well, it's part of the process. So should, in the honesty of the build, show that things don't go super smoothly, and you know, just little things like this is why things take so long. So anyway, if you've made it this far, cheers for watching. We'll see you on the next one where we get this thing on the table and start doing all the suspension mounts.